All right, welcome back to another game of Precision Baseball. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer and creator of Precision Baseball. In this game, we're going to play the opening day game from the 2023 season between the Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers. So the Brewers head to Wrigley Field in March, which is always a bit of a crapshoot as far as weather is concerned. But they got this game in, and we'll see how things go. Just as a reminder, if you go to clarkandaddisongaming.com, Precision Baseball, the 2023 season is officially released. It's been kind of in a soft launch. I haven't let everybody know yet, but you're my YouTube family, and so I'm going to let you know that it's there. So if you go to clarkandaddisongaming.com and then you go to the front page, it should be right there at the top. You can add the game to the cart and then shop around for other things, or you can just purchase the game directly right there from the page. You can learn a little bit more about Precision Baseball by clicking on the link to go to the product page. And if you have an opportunity to share with others about it, maybe you've been watching the development of the game here on the channel, then make sure you tell everybody about it. I think it's going to be, I don't know if it'll be a game changer, but it's definitely a highly extensive game, very deep and detailed game, but it is playable. So it's not like there's a ton of math going on. It's just kind of a lot of moving parts depending on what you want to add in. And I'm going to try to play most everything in this game, including the new pickoff plays and taking a lead and stuff like that. So there's kind of a solo version of taking a lead. If you're playing against somebody, then it would be like you choosing. And so you would just sort of designate this is a big, a medium, or a big normal or a short lead for the base runner, and then the pitcher, whoever's on defense, would sort of react off of that. But there are some charts that are included in the game guide, which I printed off the entire game guide just to have a copy. But we do have some charts here. So we have a roll. If you are on offense and you decide to take a normal or a big lead, you can roll to see whether there was a pickoff attempt or not. And on the pitcher side, if you're playing solo, you can roll here to determine, based off of the base runner's stealing value, did the runner take a big normal or a short lead. And then based off of that, if there is a pickoff play, then you would use this for a normal lead, or for a big lead, you would roll to see if the runner was picked off or not. So we'll test that out and we'll see how that goes. It might be too cumbersome, I'm not sure, but some people may want to play with the ability to control the running game that way. And remember that in modern baseball, you only get 3 engagements per at bat. If on the third disengagement, you get 3 disengagements. If you disengage, which is either stepping off or throwing over to first, and on the third time you don't get the runner, they get to go to second base automatically. So just keeping in mind the modern rules, this is 2023 season, sort of meant to be played as 2023. That said, I don't like the ghost runner rule, so if this goes to extra innings, we're going to play it out old school and just play out the extra innings until we get a winner. All right. I got a Wrigley Field. There are no robbing home runs at Wrigley Field. Not only do they have the basket, but their wall is 11 feet high all around. And so nobody's robbing home runs at Wrigley Field. So that is off the table, just sort of at the top of the game. And we know that for sure. So anything that just goes over the fence is going to be a home run. So if it says it's a home run, it's going to be a home run. We have our 3D10 dice. Red, white, and blue is what I use. Nice and easy to remember. But you can use any colors. Just need to designate one as the hundreds, and one as the tens, and one as the ones place. So this roll is a 268. So, and then you also need a D10 a D20. And that's going to determine who gets the advantage in each at bat. Let's go through the lineups, and then I'll just talk kind of briefly through the game for anyone who hasn't seen it in its finished state. Leading off for the Milwaukee Brewers is Christian Yelich. He's playing left field. Jesse Winker is the DH. Willie Adames is at short and hitting third. Rowdy Tellez is the cleanup man. He's at first. William Contreras is the catcher. Luis Urias is at third base. Garrett Mitchell gets a start in center field. He's hitting seventh. Brian Anderson is in right field hitting eighth. And Bryce Terang is at second base hitting ninth. On the mound is going to be Corbin Burns. Burns, 25 stamina, really good against lefties, good against righties, and not a great fielder, by the way. But he'll be getting the start for Milwaukee. That's who they are. For the Cubs, it'll be Nico Horner leading off and playing second. Dansby Swanson hits second. He's at short. Ian Happ is the left fielder. He's hitting third. Cody Bellinger is in center. He's hitting fourth. Trey Mancini, is the DH. He's hitting fifth. Yan Gomes starts at catcher. He's hitting sixth. Eric Hosmer gets a start at first base. He's hitting seventh. Patrick Wisdom at third base. He's hitting eighth. And Miles Mastrobuoni is in right field. He's hitting ninth. On the mound for the Cubs is going to be Marcus Stroman. He had a 21 stamina in 2023. Excellent against right-handers. Pretty good against lefties. Better than average against both. So there's nothing else that we need to figure. I have all of their... I use the sheets from digidugout.com, and they work perfectly because they have range, error, and then arm. This is really arm and double play. So these are either their double play ratings for infielders or their arm rating for outfielders. And then we have their stealing and base running together in the running column. So that's how I broke that out. And then I have the aggressiveness on the base paths down here at the bottom. That comes from the manager tendencies sheet, which you can use the manager tendencies as well to get a sense of, how often do they run, how often do they pinch hit, pinch run, do intentional walks, etc. So if you want to try to make sure that if you're playing against the computer, so to speak, or the AI, that you're playing that other team the way that they would have been played. If you want to play your team the way that your manager would have played them, then you can do that as well. We have all of our charts up here. We have our field up here, and then we have sort of the miscellaneous charts over here to my left. So I'm sort of surrounded by everything, and maybe I'll show everyone sort of the setup at some point, just so you can get a look at how I set it up. But basically, command center. This is front and center. Right in front of me, I have the charts that I'm going to use the most, which are the hit charts and the error and finding the fielders. I have my fielding charts over here to the left. I have my teams top right, just sorted out already. And then I have, I have the pickoff plays over here to the right, but I also have the highlight plays and strategy plays and things like that over here to the right. So sort of a half moon shape around me with the kind of the command center of the game here in front of me. Obviously it's a little bit different if you're using digital diamond or some sort of digital scorekeeping, Green Fox or iScore or whatever you're doing. And I have my coffee, so we're good to go. All right, so let's just get this one started. What we do is, the first thing we do is we figure out, let me just make sure that I have Cody Bellinger in here. I don't remember putting him in here, but it obviously is. Okay. I just want to make sure I get him in there. We start with our 3D10 dice, but we also start with our D20. Now, the D20 determines whether it's the pitcher card or the batter card that we read the 3D10 dice results off of. And the way that we do that is we say, if these two players are totally equal, then it's a totally 50-50 game. 1-10 to the batter, 11-20 on the D10. 11-20 goes to the pitcher card. But because some batters are weaker, some are stronger, some pitchers are weaker, some are stronger, we're trying to determine like who actually has the advantage in the at-bat. And this is based off of the numbers that we see here at the top. Yelich is a left-handed batter. Marcus Stroman is a right-handed pitcher. So we look at Marcus Stroman against left-handed batters is a -2. Anything minus for a pitcher is good. Anything positive for a batter is above average. Average is 0. Excuse me. And so he's a -2. And then Christian Yelich against right-handed pitchers is a +3. So we simply add those together. 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. And so because it's a +1, we take whatever the sum of those two numbers is and we add it to the batter card. So instead of a 1-10, it's 1-10 plus 1. So 1-11 is the advantage for Christian Yelich against Marcus Stroman. Yelich, obviously an MVP, is a great hitter, and had a good year in 2023 as well. Hit .294 against right-handed pitching, 762 OPS, and he walked at a 14% clip. So had an excellent season and didn't strike out as much against righties either. So he has a 1-11 advantage. So if this is D10 is a 1-11, then we'll take whatever this roll number is here and read it off of his card. If it's a 12-20, we'll read off of Marcus Stroman's card. And so we have a 6, and that 6 is going to go off of Christian Yelich's card. We have a 742, so remember red, white, and blue is how I've got it set up. So we read 742, and so we go to Yelich's card. Against right-handed pitchers, we're looking at this red column. And 742 is into his hit by pitch range. So right off the bat, Marcus Stroman hits Christian Yelich with the pitch. And he'll be at first. Now Yelich steals at a +3 and he runs at a +6. So he runs like a deer. He steals really well. He's stolen or had 23 stolen base attempts against right-handed pitching. So that's the majority of what he's going to have a steal against. So for me, I'm using both the charts for getting a lead and for whether there's a pickoff or not. So I'm going to try to do this. I haven't done this yet, so you'll have to bear with me a little. So 1, we need to subtract 1 for the stamina. And if you forget what those stamina rules are here, you can see it's -1 for every batter faced. If there's a walk, then it's a -1. So a batter face plus a walk is -2. -1 for making more starts than actual. That's more of a season replay kind of thing. +1 for a strikeout. +1 for a 1-2-3 inning. So on a strikeout, basically there's a batter faced, and then a +1 for a strikeout. So you don't have to move it on a strikeout. +1 for a 1-2-3 inning. So if the inning completes. If it's a strikeout, then you actually are going to gain 1 because it's -1 for the batter, +1 for the strikeout, +1 for the 1-2-3 inning. So if a 1-2-3 inning ends with a strikeout, that's really good for the pitcher. You get a +1 for a double play. You get a +1 if no runners score when the bases are loaded. And you get a +1 after performing a mound visit, which you can do at any time. I think you get 5 mound visits in a game. I had to go back. I think I put the actual rule inside the game guide, just so you don't have to go look it up. All right, so we're using this chart here. Basically using both of these charts. So we're going to determine what kind of lead the base runner gets. His stealing value is a 3. So 1 to 3 is this column here. And a 201 puts us here. That's a normal lead. Now what the leads do is they give you sort of extra ability to steal the base. So a normal lead doesn't give you any sort of advantage. It's just your stealing ability stays the same. If you got a big lead though, that actually gives you a +1 to your stealing value. So his would go from 3 to 4, which helps you in the running game, right? If you get a big lead. The problem is there's a risk reward. A big lead means there's a greater chance of getting picked off. In fact, you can see the numbers up here. So it's about a 15% chance of a pickoff attempt. If you have a normal lead, it's about a 40% chance of a pickoff attempt if you have a big lead. So we are going to we're going to have a normal lead. So we're rolling off of this chart here. There's no extra anything to his stealing attempt. And so let's see, 1 to 850 is no pickoff. It's a 746, so there's no pickoff attempt by the batter or the pitcher. And then if there was a pickoff attempt, and maybe it'll come up, but if there was a pickoff attempt, then we would use one of these two charts here on pickoff plays. So if it's a normal lead, you would use this one. If it's a big lead, then you would use this one. And we're looking at the pitcher's hold rating, which you find here in the purple on the pitcher card. So for Stroman, he's a -2. So anything he did would be in this column over here. So you can see that it's only about a 3% chance of getting an out at first base. Pretty minimal on a normal lead. On a big lead, it's a little bit more than that. It's about 5%. And depending on how good the pitcher's hold rating is, which a +1 is good, or plus is good, minus is less than average, so not as good. So right now, Christian Yelich has a there's no pickoff attempt and no addition to his stealing because it's just a normal lead. So he's a +3, and we can check to see about stealing if we look at the battery, which is going to be Yan Gomes. So Yan Gomes throwing is a +2, and Stroman with his hold is a -2. We call that the battery, so that's the pitcher-catcher relationship. So when you add those two together, you get a 0. And then the batter minus the battery is going to give you the final steal value, the one that you'll use for the chart. So 3 minus 0 is a +3. You can see here that a +3 on the stealing second base chart puts you in the next to highest level. That's pretty good for me. +3 is gonna, there's not too many opportunities to be thrown out. There's about 11, 16, maybe an 18 or so % chance that you won't get thrown out. So you're at about an 82% success rate, which is pretty high. So you get into that 1 to 3 column or greater than 3, and you're at a pretty high success rate. So we're going to try to take off with Christian Yelich. So that's how you figure out stealing and what it's going to be for stealing. So it's basically his number doesn't change because of the pitcher's hold rating and the catcher's throwing rating. It can go up, it can go down, just depends. So let's see what he does here. 847. 847 is just into the green, so he just gets in there, and that's going to be a stolen base for Christian Yelich. So that's with the pickoffs and everything, that's kind of complicated, but I'm also walking you through a lot of that. So all right, so we've got who coming up? Jesse Winker. And if any of this is like too tedious for you, I totally get it. But if you want to add in the pickoffs and things like that, you can. So I'm not going to worry about trying to pick them off second. Jesse Winker stands in. He is a -1 against righties. He's a left-handed batter, and it's a -2. So altogether it's a -3. And so remember, we say 10 minus 3 is 7. So Jesse Winker is a 1-7 for control on the D20. And then Marcus Stroman is an 8-20 for control. So Stroman has an advantage in this at bat, is what essentially we're saying. So we have a 10, so that goes to Marcus Stroman's card. But it's an 877, and anything 827 to 1,000 is going to be a hit off the pitcher card. Now, we don't have any hits listed here like we do off of the batter card. So what we want to do is we want to roll. And then we're looking at this little box over here on the batter card. That's what we use whenever there's a hit off the pitcher card. So we don't use these values here. But you can see that if you go across, you know, that's a single, a double, a triple, and a home run. So we're rolling to see what the type of play is. I'm also going to roll the D20, and that's going to tell us what happened on the play, like where did the ball go. So we have a 550, and 550 is in the 1 to 838 range. So that's going to be a single. We have a 20, and a 20 on a single is going to be an infield hit. So Jesse Winker with a little tapper, and that's going to be an infield single. So that's important because the base runner only moves up 90 feet, right? We take off 1 for the batter, and the next batter up is Willy Adames. And let's see what kind of lead we get over at first base. 456. He runs at a what? He steals at a 0. So that's going to be a normal lead at first. Is there a pickoff attempt? 826. No pickoff attempt. So we're good to go there. I'm not going to steal. Willy Adames hitting away with 2 on and nobody out here in the first inning. We have Adames against righties as a +1, so pretty good. Stroman, though, is really good against right-handed batters. He's a -4. So we add those together, we get a -3. And that means Adames is a 1-7 for control. We have a 13, so this comes off of Stroman's card. A 1-0-1 is going to be a ground ball against a right-hander. And so we roll to see where the ground ball went. 553 is going to be a grounder to short. And we'll see if he caught the ball or not. A 749, that's a good catch. Anything 130 and above is going to be no error on the play. So you can kind of remember that. Now we got a ground ball to short. The shortstop Swanson caught the ball. And then now we need to use our chart here to determine what happened on the play. So we have runners at first and third. This is where we're at right here. And it's hit to the shortstop. We're at normal depth. On this page, we also have an infield in chart. So depending on who has the ball hit to them, you can check that out, what the play is. It's a 0-31, and a 0-31 is going to be a 6-4 put out. So that goes from shortstop to second base. The asterisk means that the runner from third base scores. And basically that's a fielder's choice, but they can't turn the double play. So they get the runner here on the fielder's choice. That'll be out number 1. He's going to go to first on a 6-4 fielder's choice, and he is going to go home and score on the fielder's choice. I believe you get an RBI for that because he beat it out at first. And we take one off here. And now Milwaukee leads 1-0 on an RBI ground out from Willy Adames. $312 to a -1. So that's going to be a short lead. What happens on a short lead is the base runner gets 1 subtracted from his stealing ability. So he's got a short lead, and he goes from a -1 to a -2 on his stealing. Short leads are good for guys that you're not going to steal with anyway. What happens is on a short lead, there's no pickoff plays available. So you can only pick off a runner who has a normal or a big lead. So that's one part you don't have to worry about. All right, Rowdy Tellez against right-handed pitching is a 0. Stroman is a -2. So it's a 1 to 8 for control for Tellez. We have a 13. That comes off of Stroman's card. A 286 is going to be into his, against left-handed batters. 286 is going to be a ground ball. And we have a runner at first base, right? So it's going to be a ground ball to third base. There's no error on the play. And we have our third baseman here. We have a runner at first. And it is a 925. 925 is going to be a 5-4 double play chance. That's what the question mark means. If it were 2 outs, you would use the whatever the play is in parentheses. But we have a 5-4 double play. So we're going to throw to second to get 1 out. And we have to see if they turn a double play or not. Now what we do for double plays is we're going to use this chart here. And we need to find the third baseman's double play rating. It's Patrick Wisdom, and his double play rating is a 0. So a couple of nuances about the game. You can see here that there's a DP rating. Maybe this is a better one. You can see that there's a DP question mark, and then there is a grounded into double play question mark. So when it's a DP, we're going to look at the fielder's DP rating. You can see they have a rating here if it's an infielder. And if it's a GIDP, then we're going to look at the batter's grounded into double play rating, which is in the purple. And depending on which of these values we need to use to determine the double play, we look at one of these 2 charts. So if it's a fielder in the DP, we look at this chart. If it's a grounded into double play, GIDP, we look at this chart. And then we roll against whatever it is. So you would look at the batter's grounded into double play value and find the correct column. Or you look at the fielder's DP value and find the correct column. So for us, it is a 0. So we're in this column here, and it's only going to be a double play. You can see the green is a completed double play. If it's a 541 to a 710, that's going to be a completed double play. So let us take a look at what we got here. See what the roll is. So they get the out at second base. That's already happened. And then we have a 270. 270 puts us here, and that's going to be in the red, and that means it's a fielder's choice. So again, they're not able to turn 2. And that's just on the back of your errors and stealing bases and stuff like that. I just print that out front and back and just have that super handy. So we get a fielder's choice here. That's going to be out number 2. And then Tellez makes it to first on the 5-4 fielder's choice as they can't complete the double play. Take 1 off of Stroman's stamina, and then we have William Contreras to the plate. So Milwaukee up 1-0 in this one. Contreras is a +1 against Stroman's -4, so that's a 1 to 7 for control for Contreras. It's a 3, so that comes off the batter's card. A 358 off the batter card against a righty is going to be a fly ball. So it gets good wood on it, and this one goes to center field. No error on the plate. And then because it's the third out and there's no error, he makes the catch. Then there's no runner advancement, or there's nothing else that can happen in the play that just ends the inning, right? So we go F8 and the third out, and that's the inning. So that's one in the books. Stroman has a bit of a struggle inning, but he only gives up 1. He's a pretty heavy ground ball pitcher, 52% against righties, 61% against lefties, so he's going to be able to get himself out of trouble at different times. And that's going to take us to the bottom of the first. Corbin Burns will be facing Nico Horner, Dansby Swanson, and Ian Happ. When you have a 20, that's basically going to come off of the pitcher card. So I'm just going to, I know that that's what's going to happen here. A 686 against a right-handed bat. A 686 is in his strikeout range. So Burns gets the strikeout of Nico Horner. And that gets us started in this one. Again, we don't have to move his stamina because it's 1 for the batter and then +1 for the strikeout. So the more strikeouts you have, the fewer walks you have, the more double plays, the more 1, 2, 3 innings, the more you get to stay in the game. I mean, I think that makes some sense. Dansby Swanson, against righties, he's a +1, so he's a 1 to 7 for control. So this is off Swanson's card. A 913 is a high number, and we see here that that's a single for Dansby Swanson against a right-hander. And that's going to be a ground ball through the left side, and Dansby Swanson is on with a base hit. As he bounces one between third and short. Now Swanson is a 0 stealing. He runs at a +3, but not great at stealing bases. Just average. He only tried 10 attempts for the year, so not a huge stolen base threat, but let's see what his lead is like. 283, that's going to be a normal lead. And for Burns, 481 is no pickoff attempt. So nothing going on there. Ian Happ to the plate. We're going to let him swing away. Happ is a +3 against righties. Burns is -6 against lefties. So he's a switch hitter hitting left-handed against Burns. And that means -3 is our, when we do our addition. So 1 to 7 is control for Happ. It's an 8, and that goes just into Corbin Burns' territory. Of 580 against a left-handed pitcher is another strikeout as he gets Ian Happ to swing through one. And that's going to be out number 2. Again, we don't move him for a strikeout with his stamina. Brings Cody Bellinger to the plate. I guess we should roll for the lead. 545 on a lead is a normal lead. Is there a pickoff? No pickoff on the play. So Cody Bellinger is a +2 against righties. We have a -6, so that's a -4. So 1 to 6 for control for Bellinger. That's going to be off of Burns' card. And 834, though, against a lefty is going to be a walk. So he walks Cody Bellinger. That's going to put 2 on with 2 outs. So we take off 1 for the batter and 1 for the walk. So he goes down to 24 on his stamina. Brings up Trey Boom Boom Mancini, right-handed batter. He's going to be a 1-5 for control. So this comes off the pitcher card. 819 against a righty is going to be a base hit. So let's see what happens. We have to look, because it came off the pitcher card, we have to look here against a right-hander. So a 631 is going to be a single, and that is a blooper down the right field line. So we'll call that a base hit here. That's going to push everybody up. With 2 outs, Swanson's going to score. So he's running on contact. Bellinger, however, is going to go first to third. And then Trey Mancini is not going to try anything. His running is a -1, so I'm not going to try anything there to get him to go to another base. But Mancini ties it up with a bloop single down the right field line. With 2 outs, I like to give everybody an extra base just because they're running on contact. So unless it's hit right at somebody, you know, a blooper down the right field line, people are going to take an extra base. So we got Yan Gomes to the plate. It is a tie ball game, 1-1 in the bottom of the first. This is going to come off Corbin Burns' card. And 839, that's going to be another hit given up by Burns. It's a 7-11, that's another base hit. This is a line drive into left center field. That's going to score the run from third. Push the runner to third. And Yan Gomes with a base hit. That's going to be an RBI there, RBI there. I just remembered I didn't do the getting a lead. So let's do that. Eric Hosmer. Does he get a lead? A 643 is, he's a 0. So that's a normal lead. Is there a pickoff attempt? No. So we have runners at first and third, 2 outs, and Eric Hosmer to the plate. Hosmer is a 1-3 for control of the at-bat. And this comes off of Corbin Burns, and the high rolls continue. 830 is against a lefty. That's going to be a walk. So Burns struggling out of the gate. He's walked the bases loaded. Yeah, it's a tough first inning for him, even though he's only given up 2 runs. Cubs have a 2-0 lead. They're looking for more. Can Patrick Wisdom deliver? Wisdom is a 1-5 for control, so this comes off his card. 558 is into his strikeout range against a right-hander. So Corbin Burns with the clutch strikeout with the bases loaded. And he strikes out the side, but he also sandwiches in quite a few hits there. We'll leave that there. And it is 2-1 Chicago as we head to the top of the second inning. Doing okay on time here. So I'll try to speed things up. So we had a nice first inning there where I talked through everything. I'll just try to kind of work my way through and speed things up just a little bit more. So this comes off of Urias' card. It'll be Urias, Mitchell, and Anderson. 518, that's going to be a strikeout. Marcus Stroman with the strikeout of Luis Urias. This comes off Stroman's card. A 515 is going to be back-to-back strikeouts as he gets Mitchell. And Brian Anderson steps up to the plate. Anderson, a former Miami Marlin. So a 117 is going to be a ground ball. And that goes to the third baseman. And that's a 1,000, so no error on the play. So 3 of a kind. So that's no error on the play. All right. So it makes the play 5-3 on the putout. So that'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Marcus Stroman. So basically we're going to leave him there because for the 1-2-3 inning you get a +1. So Marcus Stroman has a nice second inning, and we go to the bottom of the second. It'll be Miles Mastrobuoni met to the top of the order with Horner and Swanson. So 598, that's going to be a strikeout of Mastrobuoni. And that'll be out number 1. 4th strikeout of the game for Corbin Burns. Been a little bit feast or famine for him. And we have a 618. 618 against a righty is going to be another strikeout. So second K of the day for Nico Horner. And that brings up Dansby Swanson. A 2, that's going to go off Swanson's card. That'll be a grounder to first, and there's no error on the play. So he'll flip to the pitcher covering, and that'll be out number 3. That's a 1-2-3 inning for Burns. And so we're going to leave him there because of that 1-2-3 inning. So both pitchers may be starting to lock in just a little bit after having to settle in that first inning. 2-1 Cubs as we head to the top of the third. It'll be Bryce Terang and then back to the top with Yelich and Winker. This will be off Stroman's card. 582 against a lefty is going to be a strikeout. So Stroman keeps it going as he gets Bryce Terang on a changeup. Brings up Christian Yelich. Yelich was hit by a pitch and came around to score in the first inning. He is a +1, so this is off Yelich's card. 193, though, is going to be a ground ball to second base. Possible error on the play, 0.99. The second baseman is Nico Horner. His error rating is a +1, and it would have to be a 14 to a 21 for an error, so no error on the play. And he is going to get it over to first base for out number 2. That brings up Jesse Winker. Winker with a single in his first at-bat. He's got the advantage here. A 973, that could be trouble as Marcus Stroman leaves one out over the plate. And a 973 is going to be a 2-bagger as this one is a fly ball off the left field wall. Played nicely in left by Ian Happ. But Jesse Winker is going to cruise into second base with a double. So 2-bagger for Jesse Winker, 2-out double. And that's going to bring up Willie Adames with the runner in scoring position and 2 outs. This comes off of Adames' card. A 936, that's also good for him. 936 is going to be back-to-back doubles. So Adames, he hits a line drive into right center field. That one rolls all the way to the wall. That's going to drive in the runner from second base. And Milwaukee ties it up with an RBI double from Willie Adames in the top of the third. We're tied at 2. There's a runner in scoring position again, and it'll be Rowdy Tellez to the plate. Tellez is a 1-6 for control. So 313 comes off of the pitcher. That'll be a ground ball. Let's see if this can end the inning. 641. That's a grounder to short. No error on the play. And let's see what happens. I'm sorry. There's a runner on base. So anytime there's a runner on base, you should roll against this chart because there's an opportunity for all safe on some of these, like where you just can't make a play to any base. A 0-13 with a runner at third is a 6-3 put out. And that's going to be all she wrote for Milwaukee in the third. So a run does come home to score. It's a terrible little box. A run comes in to score. We're tied at 2 on the RBI ground or RBI double from Willie Adames. So back-to-back doubles for Milwaukee does it. And we head to the bottom of the third inning. It is tied at 2 at Wrigley Field. Up first is Ian Happ, Bellinger, and Mancini for the Cubs. Burns is a 1-7, Happ is a 1-7 for control, so it's off his card. 866 against a righty is going to be a base hit. And that is an infield single. So Ian Happ with a little tapper, and they can't get the throw to first base in time, and he is going to be safe at first. Happ is a 0 on his base running, so 569 is going to be normal, and there's no pickoff attempt. Brings up Cody Bellinger to the plate. Bellinger against righties, he's a +2, so he's a 1-6 for control. So this comes out the pitcher card. A 231 against a lefty is going to be a ground ball. That goes to the shortstop. No error on the play. And with a runner at first base, we got to see what's going on with the base runner. So we have a grounder to shortstop, and we're looking in this column here. 253 is going to be a 6-4 double play chance, and we're looking at the fielder's double play rating. So the shortstop is Willie Adames. Adames has a -2 double play rating, not great. And we're looking here, so anything between 31 and 210 is going to be a double play. It is a 276, so almost. 276 is not going to be a double play, as the runner just beats out the throw to first. And that's going to be a fielder's choice at second, and a 6-4 fielder's choice at first. So that brings up Trey Mancini with 1 out and 1 on for the Cubbies. This comes off the pitcher card. A 318 against a righty is going to be a fly ball. 441. It's a fly ball to left field. No problem on the catch. Let's see if there's any runner advancement. We have a sheet here that lets us know if there's any sort of opportunities or if the runner has to go. So fly ball to left. If it's a 981 or more, or 1-30, the runner will have to go. A 918 falls in here, and that's the player's choice. With Bellinger at first, we can check it out. He runs at a +1. And the way we would figure these things out on a fly ball or a line drive caught in the air. We compare the base runner's running to the outfielder's arm. So the left fielder is Yelich. His arm rating is a -6, so not a great arm. And so that would mean a pretty good chance to make it to second base. He would have to roll out of this column. So only a 31 to 100 would get the runner at second base. So we're going to do that. And Bellinger's going to try to advance on a deep fly ball. 177 is into the red. The red means safe. And so when the outfielder's arm is less than the base runner's running ability, then you use the outfield arm chart because there's an advantage to the base runner. When the outfielder's arm is greater than the base runner's running value, you use the base running chart, which means that there's, depending on how fast the runner is, there are quite a few more outs to be had on that chart. So Bellinger moves up on the sac fly. And I don't think we give him an actual sacrifice fly on that, but that's essentially what it is. But he gets himself into scoring position. Good base running there. We have a Eric Hosmer to the plate. He's a 1-3 for control. That's a 4. So this comes off the pitcher's card. That's going to be a ground ball. And that goes to second base. And there's no error on the play. Second base, runner at second. We're looking here, a 5-0-2. That's going to be a 4-3 putout, and that's going to end the inning. So the Cubs get a runner to second base, but they can't get him around to score. That's going to take us to the top of the 4th inning, still tied at 2. This is a good one to start the season. And we've got William Contreras, Luis Urias, and Garrett Mitchell against Marcus Stroman in the 4th. 15 is going to go to Stroman's card. 857 against a righty is going to be a hit. And that will be a 728. 728 is going to be a double. That's a blooper down the left field line as Contreras gets jammed, but he muscles it out down the left field line for a double. And we got a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Let's go ahead and try and do a strategy play. So we have our strategy plays here. We're going to go ahead and do a sacrifice bunt with Luis Urias. So you can see here, these are our potential outcomes, I guess. So let's roll and see what happens. And 874 is going to be here. Batter out, third base to first. All runners advance. Sacrifice is good. Good job, Urias. So puts the bunt down the third base line. We're going to go 5-3 on the putout, and he's going to advance on the sacrifice hit. All right, so Urias gets a man to third base with 1 out, and we'll see if Garrett Mitchell can deliver. Marcus Stroman is a severe ground ball pitcher, so we'll see if we can get the chance with the fly ball. I'm not sure if I moved to him or not, but I'll move it. An 18 is going to go to the pitcher. 244 against a lefty is going to be a ground ball. A 688. That's a grounder to short. And the play is made. So we have a runner at third base. Most of these are going to be the run scores from third. That's what happens. So 6-3 on the putout. That's an RBI as the run comes in from third base on the fielder's choice. Move the wrong guy here. So Mitchell gets an RBI on the ground out to the shortstop as Swanson makes the throw to first, and that'll be 2 outs. The Milwaukee slides ahead with a 3-2 lead. Brings up Brian Anderson. Anderson in his first at-bat grounded to third. He is a 1-5 for control, so he's going to get control of the at-bat. 683 against a righty is going to be a walk, just into his walk range as he gets on with 2 outs. And that puts a runner at first with 2 down. 185, he is a 0. I'm sorry, no, his stealing is a -2. So that'll be a short lead, so no need to check for a pickoff. And the next batter up is Bryce Terang. Terang struck out in his first at bat. Let's see what he does here. A 14 is going to go to Stroman. So a 791 against a lefty is a walk. So back-to-back walks for Stroman. Not so good. And we're going to come out and do a mound visit. That takes him back up to a 6. So Christian Yelich, talking through what they want to do with Christian Yelich. And so let's see what happens. He is 1 for 2. A 15 is going to go to Stroman. A 356 against a lefty is a fly ball. It's going to go to center field. A 133, so no error on the play. And because it's the third out, we don't have to do anything else. So that's going to end the inning. And Milwaukee gets 1 in the top of the 4th. And we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. 3-2 is our score as Milwaukee edges into the lead over Chicago. For the Cubs, it'll be Hosmer, Wisdom, and Mastroboni against Corbin Burns. Not sure how Patrick Wisdom got there. All right, so Hosmer is up, and he is no official at bat. He walked in his first at bat. He is a 1-3 for control. It's a 1, and an 824 is going to be a base hit as he drives a ground ball up the middle into right center field. And that's a base hit for Eric Hosmer. Hosmer runs at a 0. And they are, what are they? They're pretty aggressive, but and the center fielder, let's see, the center fielder is who? Garrett Mitchell. He has a +3 on his range and his arm. So we're not going to try that. Pretty good range and decent average arm out there. So we're not going to try to stretch that into 2. Anytime the ball goes down the left field line or right field line or into right or left center field, I always take that as an opportunity to advance a base if you can. But you have to add the range and the arm for the player, and for Garrett Mitchell, the player fielding the ball, it's a 3 + 0, so it's a +3. He's got a good range out there. So he gets to the ball quickly, and he's got an average arm. Hosmer runs at a 0, so it's a 3 compared to a 0, which means that the onus is on the base runner to have to get to second base. And you can see here, there's quite a bit of red. He's in this 1 to -1 column. So green is safe. So he'd have about a 60% chance of stretching that into a double. Maybe if it were later in the game, do something like that. But Patrick Wisdom coming to the plate, he's got some pop in his bat. So I'm not going to do that. Better hitter against lefties, but we'll see how this goes. He's going to get control of the at bat. A 263 is going to be a fly ball, and that goes out to center field. No error by the center fielder. So caught in center for out number 1. And let's check and see if there's any sort of runner advancement. With a runner at first, 722 is a red. So the runner cannot advance even if he wanted to, as that's a shortish fly ball to center field. Let's check we didn't do the lead at 353. Hosmer is a 0. That's going to be a normal lead. And we'll see if there's a pickoff play. 269, no pickoff. So it'll be Miles Mastrobuoni to the plate. Mastrobuoni struck out in his first at-bat. 5 Ks in the first 3 innings and a third for Corbin Burns. Mastrobuoni is not going to get the advantage. 859 though will be a hit for Miles Mastrobuoni. And that's going to be a 223. That's going to be a single. And the single is a line drive up the middle into center field. So moving to second base will be Eric Hosmer. And let's see, they are aggressive going first to third. So now we look at our base runner advancement on hits to the outfield. So we look at first to third. They're aggressive, so the green column. Patrick Wisdom, I believe, runs at a 0. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Hosmer. Hosmer runs at a 0, so he's in the center column. And if it's a base hit to center field, then it's just your prerogative to run. I think we've already proven that he doesn't have a great opportunity against the center fielder. So we're going to leave him first and second. And that will bring up the top of the order, Nico Horner. Although he struck out 3 times, let's see what he can do with 2 on and 1 out. A 15 is going to go to the pitcher. 837 against a right-hander is a base hit. 508, that's a single. And again, that's a line drive into center field. So runner goes to third. Runner goes to second. Let's see, Hosmer going second to home. That's going to be totally up to us. And I think it's worth it with 1 out to try and see if that runner can make it home. They're going to go ahead and throw through. And we're looking right here. So a chance to get the runner at the plate. Hosmer is rounding third, and he's coming home. A 350 is here, and he is going to be safe at home on the play at the plate. So he comes around to score. That'll be an RBI here. And do the trail runners move up? That's the question. So Miles Mastrobuoni, they're aggressive. The Cubs are aggressive on their base running. So on a play to home, Mastrobuoni is going to advance. He's a 1-5. He's a 1 running, and Horner is a 5. So both players are going to advance on a throw through to the plates. So think you call that an advancement on a fielder's choice. That's best I can think about how you actually score that. I'm not sure. If anybody has any ideas, you can put them down in the comment section. I'm not sure how you score a runner moving up as a trail runner. So the Cubs tie the game at 3 on a base hit from Nico Horner. 3 singles in the inning. They got 2 in scoring position with only 1 out. Milwaukee's going to play the infield in, try to cut down a run with 1 out. And we've got Dansby Swanson to the plate. He is going to be a 1-7 for control. This comes off of Corbin Burns' card. 730 against a right-hander is going to be a walk. And that's tough as he walks the bases loaded. Nothing go anywhere. So he goes down 2 for the walk. We're going to have a mound visit here. Go check out Corbin Burns. Make sure he's okay. Again, infield in. Bases loaded. And it'll be Ian Happ to the plate. Happ, a tough batter. He's a 1-7 for control. So this comes off of Burns' card. 735 against a lefty is going to be a strikeout. Wow, just into a strikeout range. That's a clutch, huge strikeout there as he gets Ian Happ swinging over a breaking ball. And he's 1 out away from getting out of a certain mess, giving up only just 1 run. But Belly to the plate. He is a 1-6 for control. So this comes off Bellinger's card. A 144 against a righty is going to be a ground ball. And that goes to 104. That's a grounder to first base. And possible error, 0.35. The first baseman is Rowdy Tellez. His error rating is a +2. Actually, pretty good fielder. A 1-13 means it's an error, and so there's no error on the play. And he'll take it to first base himself. And that'll be out number 3. So the Cubs do get 1 in the bottom of the 4th as they respond and tie the game back at 3. Oh. And we head to the top of the 5th inning. It is 3-3 our score. Milwaukee is ahead. I'll have to stop here pretty soon. Gotta get ready for work, but and try to get another half inning, another inning. It'll be Jesse Winker to the plate. He's a right-handed pitcher against Marcus Stroman, or left-handed batter. So he's a 1-7 for controls. This off Stroman's card. 800 against a lefty is going to be a walk from Marcus Stroman. So that's walk number 3 on the day. Winker has been on base all 3 times. Got a single, a double, and a walk. Brings up Willie Adames. Adames with an RBI double in his last at-bat. This comes off his card. A 921 could be good things, as that is another double. And that's going to be a line drive into right center field. I believe that's the 2nd time he's hit one to the wall in right center. That'll push the runner to 3rd. Let's see. They are aggressive going first to home. So let's see what happens here. First to home, Jesse Winker. He runs at a -2 though, so he's here. And right center field is going to be our prerogative. Line drive to right center field. Let's see which player gets the ball. So 1-10, it'll be the center fielder. 11-20, it'll be the right fielder. So it's the right fielder who gets the ball. Playing right field is Miles Mastroboni. He's got a -1 for his arm plus range. Jesse Winker has a -2, so the onus is still on Winker. They're going to be aggressive, though. I'm just going to go with that, and he's going to try to score. So we're in this column here, and they're sending him around anything 211 to 710. He'll score from first. And he is going to get gunned down at the plate as a 0-57 puts him here. And Jesse Winker gets thrown out, trying to score from first. So he comes home. He gets thrown out. We'll say 9-4-2. And then Willie Adames does he advance on the play? He runs at a 1. They're aggressive. And on a play at the plate, he will advance a base. So he actually makes it to third. On the fielder's choice. So a double with the fielder's choice, I think is how you score that. For Willie Adames, he doesn't get the RBI, but he does get himself 90 feet closer to third base. Cubs are going to play the infield in for Rowdy Tellez. Got a 20. That's off Stroman's card. Okay, awesome. 888. So anytime there is a 3 of a kind in this game, you should pay attention because it probably triggers some special rare play. 888. Okay, we have off of Stroman's card. And 888 is going to be a hit. I don't know. I don't think I have any special plays for that. Any highlight plays. I only have those for ground balls, fly balls, line drives, strikeouts, and walks at this point. So no crazy hits, so we'll just call that a base hit. Off Tellez's card. And that is a 342. That'll be a single and infield single. So the run's going to score from third. That's just a killer that Rowdy Tellez has an infield single. But he's going to get the RBI. Coming home to score is Willie Adames. And that's just a tough break, as Tellez doesn't even get it out of the infield. But it scores a run, and that's going to be a 4-3 lead for Milwaukee. Brings up William Contreras. Almost another one. 899 for Contreras will be a base hit. And that's a base hit, a blooper down the left field line. So we're going to get a single here and a blooper down the left field line. Tellez runs at a -2, going first to third down the left field line. That's going to be a hold, so he's just going to stop at second base, and we got runners at first and second. We'll come out for a mound visit for Stroman. I don't think I've done one this inning, so that should be okay. I think he's up to 3 at this point. Actually, we won't. We'll just keep it there. He's just going to have to deal for a little bit, see if he can get himself through this inning. We got 1 out, 2 on, 1 already in, and Luis Urias to the plate. He is a -1. Stroman is a -4. So Urias is a 1-5 for control, so he's got that. 861 is going to be a single, and that's going to be a ground ball down the left field line. So with 1 out, everybody moves up a base. Rowdy Tellez is a -2. So we look at second to home. He's a -2. And down the left field line is going to be our prerogative. The left fielder is Ian Happ. He's a 0. So that's still better than Rowdy Tellez. So we're going to leave everybody there. It'll be bases loaded. The Cubs are going to play the infield in here. And now because Stroman is a 0, we can basically ignore this die. So every result is going to come off of the batter card whenever the pitcher has no stamina left. So Garrett Mitchell to the plate. Infield is in. We got bases loaded. It's a 4-3 lead now for Milwaukee. And A 177 against Stroman is going to be a fly ball. So it could get interesting. Let's see how deep this is. 466. That'll be a fly ball to right field. No error on the play. And let's see about runner advancement. So it's either going to be my choice or the runners are going to advance. So the base is loaded. 289 is here. So it's going to be my decision about whether to advance the runners or not. It's a fly ball to right field. The runner at third base is up here, a -2, Rowdy Tellez. The right fielder's arm is a 0, so that's going to be all here about whether he scores or not. With one out and it's coming up to the plate. Brian Anderson's not a great hitter. Let's go ahead and just try to score. Let's be aggressive. Their team profile says they're aggressive, so let's do that. So anything from 211 to 710, Rowdy Tellez will be safe at home. Otherwise, he will be thrown out, and he gets gunned down. Wow. 950. Puts him here and squarely into the red, and Rowdy Tellez gets gunned down at the plate. So 2 runners thrown out in the inning. Good defense by the Cubs. And we'll go 9-2 on the putout. So both outs in the inning have come off of throws to the plate. Let's see about trail runner advancement. We have 2 zeros. They're aggressive, so the ball goes to home plate, and both runners are going to advance on the play. So advances on a fielder's choice. So they both move up into scoring position on the Garrett Mitchell fly ball. So we should say, oh, that was a double play, right? That's the end of the inning. So that's out number 2, and that's out number 3. Oh, big turn of events. Milwaukee does get 1 in the inning, and they take a 4-3 lead. But they lose the opportunity there. Let's finish out the 5th inning as we have a 4-3 Milwaukee lead over Chicago. Trey Mancini to the plate. Mancini. This is a 300. That'll be a fly ball. And that fly out is to left field and caught by the left fielder. Christian Yelich for out number 1. Brings up Yan Gomes. Yan Gomes is a 1-6 for controls. This off of Burns' card. An 83 is a grounder, and that goes to the third baseman. 160, no opportunity for an error there, so we'll go 5-3 on the putout. There's only one play to make when there's a ground ball with nobody on. So we just make that play to first, and that's it. So Hosmer to the plate. He is going to be a 1-3 for control. So this comes off of Burns' card. 239 is going to be a ground ball, and that goes to the shortstop. No error on the play. So a 1-2-3 inning for Corbin Burns as he shuts down the Cubs in the 5th. And I'm going to have to call this one at 5 innings, and I'll have to finish this at another point. But Milwaukee over Chicago, 4-3. Got a good one here as Milwaukee putting in some some single runs as we go along. Oh, that was a 1-2-3 inning, so no movement. And the situation is coming out to the 6th. I think maybe we'll start Brian Anderson against Marcus Stroman and see how Stroman does. Again, the penalty for going out there with a 0 stamina is that all the results come off of the batter card. So if you have a weak batter or you have a weak lineup, it might not be such a big deal, but the opportunity is there, obviously. He actually is not a good hitter, so it's actually better to go off of the batter card at this point. So we'll see how this one plays out. This is precision baseball, playing with everything, including the pickoffs and all that kind of stuff, which I keep totally forgetting. So I'm only doing that every so often. So it's brand new. I haven't ever used it before this video. So that's just kind of getting used to using those things. But you can go to clarkandaddisongaming.com and you can pick up this season. It's 2023. And I'll have to see about doing older seasons, but at this point, it's going to be enough to just keep up with the regular seasons. But it's a very deep, very detailed game. You can see, I didn't show it, but this is the Wrigley Field card, and then you can see it has all single, doubles, triples, home runs. It has all the different things for foul territory, which we have a few foul territory checks, foul ball checks in the highlight plays. And then we have all of our regular charts that we use for offense and defense. So basically defense is on one side and then the base running is on another side. These are two, like, the most common charts that you use. You have fly ball advancement, which we did. You have line drive advancement and the opportunity to turn double plays on a line drive if it's hit to an infielder with runners on. And we have, of course, our runner advancement chart on hits to the outfield. We have our ground balls chart when there are runners on base. And then we have our sheet where we keep track of the pitcher stamina here as well. Also comes with the game, we use the strategy chart. So we have our bunts and hit and runs. These are all of our highlight plays. So you can see, there's a lot of them. And these are all just kind of, some of them are rare, some of them are just not super common. The game guide I printed out. And you can see it's got some heft to it, but the writing is pretty big, so should be easy for everyone to read, and it just explains everything. There are these occasional notes and tips and things like that about, this just explains about the battery, the pitcher, and the catcher, and there are some little explanations. There's some definitely some things to think about. You can play double play depth, which I haven't been doing, but that's definitely a strategy. Guard the lines is a strategy that you can do. It talks about foul ball checks, and then I also have this glossary here, so it shows all the different abbreviations and things like that about what everything stands for, what it means, explanation of the different types of outs and double plays and stuff like that. So just a little bit of a glossary if you're not familiar with some of the acronyms that I'm using. You also get a manager tendency chart, so you can see all the managers here, their teams, and then what they did as far as their tendencies to steal bases, sacrifice, intentionally walk, etc. And then so this is where I'm getting all this data down here about the taking extra bases. So first to third, first to home, second to home, and trail runners. And then you use that with the hits to the outfield chart. And then gameplay sequences here. This is an old copy, but basically it just kind of tells you what to look at with each type of play. Right, so I haven't been doing checking for errors on base hits. You should do that, but I haven't been doing that. I think when you get into a rhythm of each of the different types of plays, I'm having to talk as well, and I'm a man, so it's hard to do. But when you get into the rhythm of each type of play, you're looking for, specific things. So like when you're tagging up on a throw, if it's a 3 of a kind, there's a potential for an error on the throw. So there's like lots of different little additional features that you can add into the game. You can use it or not. You can, if you don't remember it, it's probably not going to be a killer to your gaming experience. But it just gives you some little tips about what to remember. So on the tag ups, compare the base runner running and the outfielder arm. If the steal, that should be if the run. To change that. So if the run value is greater than arm, then use the outfield arm chart. If the arm is greater than the run value, then use the base running chart. Roll for save or out. If it's a 3 of a kind, then you need to roll for an error on the throw, so the player who threw the ball, and roll against his error rating to see if there was an error on the play. So that it's just little things like that that sort of add to the game, and they really do. It does feel like the game is moving along as a baseball game should, and it's not every single thing because we're not doing pitch by pitch, but it's pretty close to most everything that happens in the game, sort of at a high level, and there's lots of moving parts just like there is in baseball. So go check it out. It is only $12 to purchase this season, so I tried to keep the price low because there's a lot of printing that has to happen in this game. You get almost 1,500 player cards in color, and obviously you don't have to print in color if you don't want to. You can print in black and white, but they're there in color if you want. The game guide is in color. Most of the charts are full color. You don't necessarily need to have them in color, but it does help visually to kind of easily discern, what's going on the play. And then this is just from DigiDugout, so I don't have a scorecard for this particular game. All right, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments section. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, click on subscribe. If you like this video, just give it a thumbs up. That's a super easy way to support what we're doing here. Helps the reach of the video in Google's eyes. And if you really like it, share it with a friend, put it on social media, share it with your group, put it on Delphi, whatever you want to do. It's fine just to get the name of the game out there. That would be great. I've done a soft launch of the game with the Clark and Addison Facebook group. So if you want to join that, go to Facebook. And if you're on Facebook still, go to Facebook groups, search for Clark and Addison Gaming Company, and then answer a few questions and agree to the group rules because it's a private group. Once you do that, I'll let you in, and then you'll have access to the community. We're up about 60 or 70 members of the Facebook group, and it's learning more about the game. You're going to get the first look of everything, whatever I'm working on, whatever I'm trying. It's also a great place to interact with me personally, when you can just drop a line and say, hey Brian, what's up with this? And ask questions about games. And you can also, you'll get first dibs whenever new games come out. That'll be the first place I post them. Same thing with videos, whenever I post new videos. So check out the Facebook group. That's going to be the main social channel that I use. And then here on YouTube is also a good one as well. All right. I think that's it from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.